Good evening, everyone. Thank you for another night of legends from the past and from the future. We have an exciting guest for you tonight. He's doing an awesome job. I think that my old high school, I am an alumnus, that's for sure. You know, uh, 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 rich in tradition of winning, and I see nothing but great things from this guy. He's going to get us back to what he once was. And without further ado, here he is, Coach Dwayne Hunt. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me on the show, Mr. Wallace. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate you coming. So now let's do this, Coach. All right. We're gonna travel. We're gonna travel back through the time thing. Okay. We're gonna go back to. Why don't you tell everybody where you're from?
I'm born and raised in Annapolis. My family from Browns Woods, Maryland. If you know anything about the Hunts, the Browns Woods people, the Johnsons, Stansburys, we're all relatives. Got a lot of kinfolk from over there. My dad, he moved over the bridge, so I didn't live over there myself, but his brothers, sisters, my aunts and uncles, all that, they lived there. I've been living in Annapolis my entire life. I went to Thoreau Elementary School, graduated from there, went to Bates Middle School, so I am a Cougar. I went to Bates and I graduated from Bates, and I ended up going to Annapolis High School and graduated in the year of 1999. So Annapolis is my home, love it. I still live in Annapolis today with my wife and 2 kids. We live in Annapolis still, in the Thoreau area as well.
Awesome. Now, what are some of the things you did while growing up? Annapolis is rich in youth sports. What are some of the things you took part in growing up?
So I was blessed to have a lot of good people in my life, from my aunts and uncles and grandparents and my mom and dad, but also like friends of my family and godparents like Miss Rhonda Pendell Charles, Mr. Marvin Charles. They were heavily involved in my life. Their son is one of my best friends, Marvin Charles. I played basketball for Mount Olive. I know a lot of kids from Annapolis played for Mount Olive. I played baseball for Mount Olive. But my football heritage started with the Annapolis Crusaders. Mr. Watty, Coach Dave, Mr. Matthews, God rest a lot of those guys' souls are no longer here. Cuz, all those guys, they coached me when I played youth ball for Annapolis Crusaders when it was weighted pounds, not the unlimited stuff, right? You had to make weight, get on the scale every day. I started playing when I was on 95 pounds. Played all the way up to 140 in 8th grade. And 8th grade year, we went to the championship game. And Marvin Brown was my coach, actually. Marvin Brown, who played basketball for Annapolis High School and everything like that. He was my coach for my 8th grade year. And we went to the championship game, and we played Gork Wildcats. And one of my good buddies, Tenardo Sharp, was on the other side of the field, and they ended up beating us in the championship game at Anne Arundel Community College. That's where they used to hold the games at.
Oh, okay. Now, all right. So you went to Bates and you went to Annapolis High. Did you play football at Annapolis High?
Yes, sir. I played 4 years at Annapolis High School. My freshman year, I played junior varsity up until the last 2 games of the season. Coach Roy Brown was the head coach of Annapolis High School at the time, with Kenny Dunn and Coach Brogdon. They were the varsity coaches. They brought me up as a freshman the last 2 games. Really didn't see much time, but I got the experience just to be out there in the practice and seeing all those big guys that were 18 years old. I'm 14. I'm out there. Had a lot of heart, but those guys are a lot bigger. But then my sophomore year, I went into my sophomore year campaign, and I started. I didn't start the first game. There was actually a senior in front of me. he got injured, and my brother was on the team. So my brother was a senior that year, and he got injured. And I just remember my brother telling the guys like, "Oh man, that's it for him. My brother's not gonna get that up." And he got injured, and I never looked back. Had some very good plays as a sophomore. I started what we called a monster back at that time. I played that position. Then my junior year was really when it took off. We ended up going 9-1 my junior year, making all county. You know, as a defensive back, we lost in the first round playoffs to I forget the team in Prince Georgia County. We lost to them in the first round, but then we came back my senior year because we was senior heavily loaded my junior year. And I remember the articles that they used to write in the paper and stuff like that, and go get it on Saturday. And they had us ranked like 7th in the county because we graduated like 14, 15 seniors my junior year, and they didn't think we were going to be as talented. And I kind of took that personal. Along with my buddy Rayvon Johnson, we were on the same team.
Oh, so you played with Rayvon Johnson, huh?
Yeah, we were on the same team. And I got him to come out after he was running track with me, and I said, "Hey Ray, I need you to play, man. They don't think we're gonna be as good." And he said, "I got you." And we end up winning the county again, going undefeated in the county. We had 6 shutouts. We played in the first round. We ended up losing to Sherwood 17-7. Made all county, all metro, all state.
Okay.
Got a lot of awards that year. It's pretty cool. Fox 5 Athlete of the Year. Because I ran track and played basketball as well. So my high school days was some really good times and fun for me, man. So I'm thankful for Annapolis High School and all the opportunities they gave me.
Well, let me ask you a question, man. Now you played for what? And you played for coah. All right, now you played under Coach Roy Brown and Larry Well, and King Dan. What do you think? Because in my mind, I've always felt that what is coah, Bob, man, all of them could have coached on the high school level. Do you think playing for them prepared you well for high school, and they could have actually been coaches on the high school level?
Oh, absolutely. They made sure we understood what discipline, respect, and how to be tough, right? I remember Mr. Weather used to ask us, like, are you injured or you hurt? You know what I mean? Those are 2 different things, right? And I heard those same things when I got to high school, right? You know, a lot of athletes, they think that's the same thing, but it's 2 different things, right? You know, if you're injured, you can't play. If you're hurt, that's just a little bit of your pride, right? And stuff like that. So, but they definitely, those gentlemen were capable enough coaching high school sports. They had the right character, they had the right mindset, and they love kids, so they love coaching. So absolutely, they could have done that.
Absolutely. Now, what college did you go to?
So I, after going in high school, I wasn't the greatest student, and that was partially my fault. But I also felt like, you know, I didn't really understand how to value school as much, right? So that's why it's very important to me with my players. And my parents, they did an awesome job for what they could do, you know, because they didn't go college or anything like that. They went on and got jobs and things like that. My dad works for U.S. Naval Academy, served 30 years doing that stuff. He was one of the head chefs at the U.S. Naval Academy. And my mom worked in the school system. And she served many lunches for a lot of these kids around here, and they love her to this day. So school, I kind of got by, right? I did enough to be eligible to play, but I didn't really take advantage of that, like, you know, how I should have, right? So I ended up having to go to junior college first. I went to Montgomery Rockville. They no longer exist. They had a football program there. The school is still there, but the program is no longer there. Coach Martin was my coach. Phil Martin. When I played at Montgomery Rockville, I ended up being a junior college All-American playing there. My second year, had opportunities to transfer to like University of Georgia, Lafayette. I'm sorry, not Lafayette. Louisiana Tech, and Appalachian State. And my brother used to tell me, man, you should go to App State. You should go to App State. You should go to App State. I didn't play my cards right. I ended up not going to any of those schools because of other reasons. Like they got some guys that they wanted. I ended up transferring then just to try to play 2 more years of football. I ended up going to Salisbury. I didn't play there because when I got there, I was like, it's not what I wanted to do anymore as far as playing, because my mind went to a different direction, and I started thinking about coaching. So that's when I stopped playing after my junior year in college.
Okay. So now, all right, you went to Montgomery Rockville.
Yes, sir.
So Anne Arundel Community College, they didn't have a football program at that time?
Not at that time. Montgomery Rockville was the only one in Maryland. There was also another school in Massachusetts, Dean College. They were pretty much interested in me. So was Lackawanna, PA. They were interested in me. Coming out of high school, I had some schools like Morgan State was big. They really wanted me to go there. But like I said, my academics was an issue. I was a 2.0 GPA student. That's not going to get you in college, right? But it's eligible enough to play high school sports. So in the system doesn't really prepare you to go to the next level, right? The system itself just says, okay, you can be average, but you can still do the things you want to do and play sports and all that. But at the next level, they don't explain to you that you have to be better than just average, right? Because there's a clearinghouse, there's a GPA standard that you have to meet in order to qualify to just be eligible to play or even take credited classes, right? I had to go take non-credited classes the summer prior going into Montgomery Rockville just to get eligible to play on the team. And these things I had no idea.
Wow. What you did it, you made it through. You were able to get your associates. What schools you go to from there?
And like I said, I went to Salisbury, Maryland.
Okay.
Went there, finished at Salisbury, and then I started doing stuff at in high school. Right, I came back. I was looking for a job. I started teaching special education.
Okay.
I started at Chesapeake Bay Middle School, and during that time, like I said, I was into coaching. I was still playing some sports. The first coaching thing I did was like a little basketball league that I got into, and I was only like 20 or 21 years old, and I was like not the head coach, but I was an assistant, and it was with the Jaguars doing a little bit of stuff, but then I stepped away from that. But I want to give a lot of credit for my coaching where I'm at, where I am today. To just get started with football was Gene Slocum. Gene Slocum was a big part of that. He saw me playing summer basketball because I still competed in the Truxton Park League at that time, still trying to play basketball and just keep my competitive edge. He got me out one day and said, "Hey, man, I want you to come coach football." And I was like, Gene, I want to coach, but I think I don't want to be a head coach. He's like, "Nah, man, you could be a head coach. You got a great personality and everything." And I said, "Well, I'll come out there and help." So my first year, I helped with Gene. He was the head coach, and the very next year, he was like, "Nope, you got your own team," because he was the commissioner of Crusaders at the time.
Okay.
He was like, "Nope, you got your own team this year. You running it from here, man." And I coached for about 12 years, Crusaders, 11, 12 years, and then went on to PAL and things like that. But like I said, I really want to give Gene Slocum a lot of praise and credit for pushing me to go in this direction to help kids.
Okay. So now, how were you able to transition from little league or youth football into high school? What was your first thought?
So, after coaching for Crusaders for either 11, 12 years, like I said, I went to PAL, and we won a championship at Crusaders, the 12U and that was the last year Crusaders ever existed. So we were the last team, and that was a great time having those kids win a championship. That was the last Crusaders team. I had a few kids left over.
Mm-hmm.
We went over to POW and created a new vibe and environment. All the kids from the city played there now, so we had like one team, right? So now we all played there. We had great success. Won like 4 county championships, 2 regionals, and 1 state championship. Basically, down at PAL in that 5-year span, and I coached a lot of great kids down there. Some really tough guys. But after that, I wanted to originally come to help at Annapolis. Unfortunately, it just wasn't maybe the right timing, and it didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up coaching at the U.S. Naval Academy before I came to Annapolis High School. So I coached at the U.S. Naval Academy for 5 years.
Okay.
When I was at Navy, Coach Ken was my head coach and my mentor to this day. We still talk quite a bit. He's at San Jose State doing a great job. At his first year. So learning a lot of stuff from him and a lot of other coaches at the Naval Academy. I mean, a whole slew of guys. Lieutenant Colonel Green, very smart guy. A lot of guys taught me a lot of good stuff. Justin Davis, so many guys over at Navy. Coach Yokitis, Coach Newberry, the head coach currently now, taught me some things defensively. When I was over there, I dealt with more of the special teams guys. So the kickers, holders, and punters, I was kind of more in charge of them. And I got to see so many things. I talked to different coaches like Chip Kelly, Bill Belichick, you name it, like Dabo Sweeney. We were in the same room talking, shaking hands. I was like a sponge, just learning as much as I could.
So now that was at I'm very familiar with the coaches' clinics that they used to have, right? They would have guest speakers, body value and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
So when you met them, where were you, or where did you meet them at? Was it here in the state of Maryland, or was it out of state?
Most of these interactions were out of state, like meeting different coaches like that. There was a few, like Chip Kelly. He would always come down to the Naval Academy and watch how we ran the triple option, because he loved watching how beautiful it was and how it worked, and he just wanted to use some of that towards his offense and his scheme and things like that at times. But all the other coaches, I either met them throughout travels, conventions, things like that, when I was going along with the staff to different places.
Now, I was reading an article about Chip Kelly where they had made a comment that he had a problem with black athletes. How do you feel about Chip Kelly personally, and do you think there's anything legitimate behind that article that came out on?
Chip Kelly, when I met him, man, he was an open book, man, a really positive guy. He seemed like he cared about the student athlete. So some of these things that you might hear may not always be the root, right? Might not always be as truthful. And my experience, Chip Kelly, he seemed to be just very genuine, honest. He sat and talked with me, had no real issues. I mean, of course, he coached African-American players. Like,
yes, he did.
So in my opinion, I think Chip Kelly is a squared away coach, and he's a fair guy.
So now, how did it feel actually meeting the GOAT of coaches, Bill Belichick?
So so he came to the Touchdown Club a few years back, right? And we go every year as a staff. Even prior to me being the head coach, Coach Goodmaloy always made sure we were in representation of Annapolis High School, and we would get a table, and we would be there along with Coach Phoebus and guys like that, right? Coach Phoebus, he still helps us out in our program. Love Coach Phoebus to life right now. So like those guys, like we're all there. The 1 year Coach Belichick was there. We had the coach from Maryland, the head coach from Maryland was also there. And we had the long snapper who actually played at Navy, who plays for the New England Patriots. He was there as well. So, and this is just a funny story between me and Coach Belichick, right? We were sitting up there talking, and Bill Wagner, the Capital News writer, does all the sports. He's the host, right? He's telling everybody to, hey, sit down, let the coaches have their time and eat and everything like that. Well, I was at the podium because Coach Ken was there too. You had all three coaches there, right? Coach Ken, he was there, and he was talking to me. He was introducing me to all these guys, right? And I already kind of knew Bill Belichick because of the Navy thing, but I'm actually getting to really just sit there and talk to him a little bit. And Bill tells everybody, hey, man, everybody sit down, let the coaches have their moment. You'll have a chance to take pictures and everything. So I'm about to leave, and Bill Belichick's like, Coach Hunt, you stay, man. You're an Annapolis guy, man. We alumni. You stay. I'm not worrying about Mr. Wagner. So I sit up there and stay, and then we have some good conversations. And before I leave, I said, you know what, Coach Belichick, I always tell my players a little funny story about me and you. He said, okay, what's that, Coach? I said, when you go and look at our Wall of Fame, right? If you look on the list, I got one thing over Coach Belichick. My name's sitting a little higher than his. And he laughed just like you did.
Hey, before we move on, I gotta give a shout out to Vanessa Turner. Vanessa, thank you for joining us tonight. You know, and everyone else on there. I'm looking at you, but if this is your first time, please subscribe to our show. Okay, Brandon Gelly, how you doing, Brandon? Thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah, so you know I got to get Coach Belichick on the show, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got to.
Yeah. So Brandon said, "Hit or be hit." Huh? Is that the battle cry for Annapolis?
That's still one of our battle cries. That's definitely hit or be hit. That's always been a slogan for Annapolis, and it will continue to be a slogan for Annapolis.
Yeah. Big Lodi, what's up, Big Lodi? Thanks for joining us tonight. Now, Coach, you said you coach with or under Coach Malloy, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When he left, did you have any aspirations of taking over then, or what did you do once he left?
So, true story about that. When Coach Goodmalloy decided to leave, I tried to get him to stay, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, "Hey, Coach, you stayed. Like, you got me from Navy, right? Because that's how I got there, right? When I was at Navy, he called over to the academy and talked with Brian Billick. He was Coach Nehemiah's director of operations. And then Coach Nehemiah brought me in the office and said, "Hey, man, Coach Goodmalloy wants you to come back to Annapolis." And originally, I didn't want to. I was like, "Man, I'm here. I'm Navy. Like, I'm fine. I'm still in Annapolis, helping in my city." But Coach Nehemiah was a big part of telling me, man, like, he thought I could make a huge impact in my community just because of he said the person that I was and the community that believes in me. He was like, "Man, I think you should consider it," right? And I sat and talked with my wife and had to make sure it was fine with her to commit to something different other than coaching at college. And she was like, "Go ahead and do it. You know, the kids in the city, they love you. They need you." So I talked to Coach Goodmalloy. I'm very grateful for him and thankful for him allowing me to come as his assistant head coach and defensive coordinator for 2 years. Yeah. After the COVID year, we had a shortened season, and Coach Goodmalloy told us that he was going to be stepping down. Like I said, I tried to convince him to stay. I said, "Hold on, Coach, just stay a little longer. You brought me, man. We can make this work." He also had, a new child, things like that. And he just said, "Coach, I think it's time for the team to go in a different direction." And he convinced me to apply for the job because he said, "Man, you got a lot of energy." He felt like he did his part. He did his time. And sometimes you have to move on to see things grow or whatever. And I don't know what his vision or thoughts was, because at the time that wasn't my thought. I wasn't ready to grab the reins necessarily. But then I had a conversation again, with my wife. We prayed on it, things like that. She thought the community needed me to stay with those kids in Annapolis, especially after going through COVID. So I applied. There was several other coaches who applied. I believe it was 17 coaches total for the position. I'm very thankful for the community backing me and really sending in letters and things and saying that they would love to have me as a coach. And I appreciate that from our community. And I ended up being the head coach, and I'm glad I did it. I wouldn't change it for the world. This is a great opportunity, a great blessing to help others. And I love these. These are like my kids, all these guys, man. I had a couple of kids call me the other day, and one kid at Bowie State right now on playing football, Ian Brown. He still calls me, Coach, just want to check in with you. Yes, sir. And we have conversations, and because it's about life lessons for these guys as well. It's not just football. It's bigger than that, especially from this area that we live in.
Absolutely. Now before I move into the next question, I got to give a shout out to Margaret. Margaret, thanks for joining us tonight. That's one of my big homies. Now you are the second Black head coach in Annapolis High system. Okay, so you're part of history. How does that feel?
Sometimes when I think about it, it's amazing, right? Like it's 2024, and you think it'd be more than that, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, some of these coaches coach so long. That's why maybe that hasn't happened, or Annapolis just wasn't really ready for as many African American head coaches just yet. But I'm very grateful. I also brought back the first African American head coach, and I put him on my staff. So he's my offensive line coach because I told him I wanted him to be a part of the change that's going to happen, that I know that will make happen with our community and our program, and I want us to be together when this happens. So I'm definitely I'm excited, and sometimes I don't even realize that, right? Like it's part of history, right? And what we're doing with our kids is amazing, and what the kids are doing for themselves is amazing. Sometimes you just need someone to push you a little bit, right? Or people to believe in you. And I always want to give credit to Coach Goodmalloy, because he started something, and I took a lot of what he started and then just branched off into our own stuff. But he started a lot of things, and he taught me a lot to prepare me for this moment and get me ready to do a lot of these things that he was already starting.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. You have done a lot for not only the student athletes at Annapolis High, but you helped a lot of athletes that's not in Annapolis High.
Yes,
and you've lost a lot of athletes that should have been going to Annapolis High. What are some of the things you think can be done to change that? How can we bring who needs to be here back, or to keep what we have here? What are some of the things that you are working on doing to fix that?
So to hit on that whole scenario of we just need to inform people a little bit more about what Annapolis has to offer, right? So many people believe that private schools are the way to go and things like that in today's time, because that is a very popular thing to do, right? You see a lot of kids on TV, some kids at IMG Academy. The world is all about social media and where can I go to the next biggest thing, right? But there's big things happening in Annapolis. We right now, we partnership with Imagine Athlete. The guy you was talking to earlier, Brandon Gully, is a big part of Annapolis High School's football program as a whole. Our guys go to combines, they go to camps, all because of Imagine Athlete, and those guys don't have to pay anything because they make it happen for them. That program is phenomenal. He wants to give back because he's an alumni. He's a part of what we do. So it's all a partnership. But just making sure everyone is informed informed on what we're doing. Like, we have the study halls, we have the weight rooms, we have classes set up so guys can be ready to go to college. And we challenge our student athletes. We challenge them to just not be student athletes, but to be young men, right? And we have women in our program who are managers. We've had 2 managers go on and get full scholarships to be managers. One young lady's at Towson. Her name's Damar. She's at Towson. She's a manager for Towson football. Like, our program is to help our community. So what we need is our community to help us, help their children, right? We have these youth league programs in our cities, the All-Stars. We have PAL. We have different organizations like that. And we need support and keep our kids in our community so they can grow up, go to Annapolis High School, have the same success you and I had growing up, and make our city proud, right? You know, I always tell kids that go to private schools, and this is no knock on any private school, because private schools are awesome. Like, the private school has a unique community, right? But it's not a community like an Annapolis, right? Because Annapolis is actually a city. It's a city. It's where you grew up, your families, you played sports on youth league teams. You went to each other's houses. You spent the night. That's the community. That's the community, being a family, and you grow up together and you play all those sports together. And that's, sometimes you fight so hard just because that's your brother, and even though you're not blood brothers, you just been through so much together in your life. You don't want to disappoint them. That's a different community, right? You know, when you go to private schools, to me, it's more like a collegiate level, right, of community, because you mix and match kids from all over. And yes, they learn each other and they become great friends and they do good things for their school. But it's not the same like if you win for your own city, right? You play for a private school championship. It's not the same as playing for state championship in your own school, your own community. I grew up saying I wanted to play at Annapolis High School because my brothers and my uncles and aunts and everybody went to Annapolis High School and played sports and did these things. These are very special moments in young athletes' lives. But, you know, we have to get back to that. Right now, our communities, they believe like you have to go to a private sector to get the best football or to get the best education. To me, that's not true at all. I mean, we have a young man on our team, or several young men, right? We have 5 guys signed already this year, but we have several young men over 4.0 GPA. Just last year, we had the highest GPA in the school during the football season. You know, and normally girls sports, they tend to do a little bit better than the guys, but we held on. Luckily, our team managers, they do help out and they make sure the guys are on top of things. But we have so much going on with our program right now, from health and wellness to financial literacy. Like I told you, Imagine Athletes is coming on and helping with that. We just had a beautiful signing day. 18 students from Annapolis High School signed to go to college. We're not even talking about football. 18 students go play college sports from all the sports. Like, we have PBA programs, we have the IB programs, we have whatever you name. My daughter's currently at Annapolis High School in the PBA program. She's a 4.2 GPA student. She loves it. I mean, she gets to do all the theater stuff and act and sing and dance. I mean, Annapolis is a great school, and some of the most talented, smart kids come out of Annapolis. So I would encourage anyone, if you live in Annapolis right now and you're contemplating on going anywhere else, and your kid plays football or any sport, bring them to Annapolis. There's a lot of good people, a lot of good coaches. I'm going to be there to help support your kid, regardless if they play football or not. Just like Mr. Wallace said, I've helped kids that don't even go to Annapolis because they're still from our community. But it's a lot easier when they're with us, though.
Now, which is very good. You know, there's so much going on from Lodi, and this Orlando Macon.
Yes, sir.
What about keeping them out of harm's way? Well, what's being done let the student know that just help them feel comfortable in knowing that they can go to Annapolis High and not be fearful.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I spoke about my daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a young woman, especially in today's time. Like we all want to be very careful of our children, right? Like you see so much stuff on TV, the internet, things like that. But I have a daughter who goes to Annapolis High School, and like I said, she loves it. Never had any altercations, never been in any situations, because she's there to learn, right? And I tell people this all the time. And when I go to the middle schools and I tell the kids and players, like, if you're looking for things, right, you can find things. So you can find trouble anywhere, right? And that's just being honest, right? But if you're not looking for that and you're trying to be very studious and you're trying to be about your business, if that's athletics or studies, you normally don't have those issues. You don't have those problems. And we do have resource officers in our school. We do have coaches that walk around the building and things like that. And I can tell you this from my personal experience from the last 6 years being at Annapolis. I've never seen anyone have to worry about their true safety at Annapolis High School. There's things that happen at school. They happen at every school, right? Skirmishes and things like that. That happens at every school. Sometimes Annapolis gets magnified a little bit more. We're the state's capital. We're next to the Board of Education. So when you do have altercation or a fight, between someone or something, it might get blown up a little bit more. But no other bodies are in harm's way or having to worry about, can I go to my next class? Can I go to the bathroom? I would encourage any parent or any person who wants to come to Annapolis, just go visit the school. Come visit the school. You can get a pass. They'll put your name on it. You can come walk around. You can see, and you get the feel for yourself, right? Because I can tell you right now, if I thought the school wasn't as safe, I would never let my daughter go there.
That's good. Now, Annapolis High is rich in winning tradition. Okay, got guys on here now who they are standard bearer. What are we doing? I understand we've improved our weight room at Annapolis High. What are we doing to create a winning atmosphere? What is it that you've done that's different from any other coach in the past to get Annapolis High back on the winning track?
Well, first I believe that you have to get your players to believe in you and what you're doing. I truly believe all of our players believe in what we're doing as a staff, right? I know my name, right? Coach Hunt is the name, but my name is the brand of my staff, right? Of all my coaches. So their last name is Hunt as well when you say Coach Hunt, right? Because it's not just me, it's every coach on that staff that's grinding and putting in the work and doing what they have to do. Like every year we try to improve on different skill sets and things that we can do for the kids. I just brought in a phenomenal coach, Coach Johnson, Warren Johnson. I just brought him in this year. He's a quarterback coach. He does all kind of speed training and things of that nature, and to help our guys become more explosive, more balanced, more limber. He's done a whole lot of things already. The kids like, Coach, wow, this is amazing. I feel different already. But just getting the buy-in, right? And to me, some of that is the kids just trusting you and being honest with them, being upfront with them, talking to them like man to man. And everything isn't always me having to yell. Of course, I do yell. It's part of coaching, but it's also having that moment that I can talk to my head coach and not be fearful of him, right? There's such thing as respectful fear, and then there's the fear that I don't want my players to not be able to say, hey, coach, can I sit down and have a conversation with you about life? Can I have a conversation about college? This is going on, coach. Can you help me with this? I want to be able to be there for them, but they do understand there's a line that I am still an authority figure. I'm still their coach. And I think a lot of that family oriented, I learned this from Coach Nehemiah, that family love oriented stuff makes your players want to give you their all. And then just having the conversations about, like, why are you doing this? What are you doing this for? And sometimes it's bigger than just you, right? You got to think about your family. You got to think about all the other little kids who are looking at you playing this game and how you're going to leave your mark for them to want to come and follow what you've done. So just having like conversations with those guys and being there when they might have a birthday. Hey, coach, can you come? I try to show up. You know, be a part of their lives other than just their football coach. We do so much as a team. We go to Commanders games as a team. We go bowling. We've done cookouts and all kinds of stuff as a group. We go to the elementary schools in the morning and high five the kids. We're doing field day coming up for Pearl Elementary School and Germantown. We were trying to get Monarch. Sorry, Mr. Gully. It's kind of, they're on the same day, but there's so many things that we're trying to do as a program. We feed the homeless, those kids. So we make sure that they understand they're not just football players.
That's good.
Like, and I think because of that, like, you get kids buying in and they really want to do as much as they can because they see the light at the end of the tunnel. They see I can do more for my community and help and because at the end of the day, you know, everyone's not going to go in the NFL, right? That's just the statistics. But can we give them opportunities to go to college or a trade school, but at the same time be the best football player they can be, the best athlete they can be in high school and enjoy it, right? And so many guys have loved being a part of the program, love the team. It just changed so many guys' lives, man. So, and you don't know how this impacts them. Maybe this is the only family they got, right? The only family they can depend on. And so I think because of that loving nature, that hard discipline, but like I said, being straight up honest with them, truthful, and them having the opportunity to come and talk to us as a staff. And I think that's a big part of where our culture has changed because it's their day, right? It's not ours, right? It's their day and what they want and how they want it to be. But I also make sure that they understand tradition. Like, they got to understand where they came from and why people push so hard for them to be great. Because we want to just see them do what we've done and even greater.
That's good. Now, does Annapolis High, does the coaching staff have a study hall in place for the student athletes?
Yes, sir. So the past 3 years since I've been the head coach, we've had a mandatory study hall. Like, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Prior to them taking out Panther Hour in school, right? It's an hour block that kids would have a free period or go. It was designed to go see teachers, right? Or they could just go to their lunches, right? So it kind of took where their lunches used to be. They reduced it down to Panther 30, but during the Panther Hour, we had mandatory study hall check-in during the school day. Coach Brown did a great job. He was he did all the taking attendance every day. Coach Juwan Petty, congratulations to him as the new head coach at North County High School from Annapolis High School. My guy, he was my D coordinator. But he would definitely, they were there checking in. I was there, and it was mandatory. The kids had to be there, no matter if they had a 3.5, 4.0, because it still was a team thing. So we had that in place definitely for those 2 years, the 2 years when we had Panther Hour. When they changed it to Panther 30, it was too short of a session. So now what we have is it's a mandatory right after school. From 3:18 as the bell rings, they get to 3:30. They have to be in the cafeteria. They have to check in. We don't start our football practice to 4:30. We have 4 to 5 teachers come down to the cafeteria and all your major subjects, English, math, science, and history. And we have a teacher that comes in with some electives and things like that. And they sit and talk and help the student athletes with their academics. So they get 45 minutes of that before they got to get taped and everything like that before practice and pre-practice stuff. So it's mandatory. And of course, we have a standard, right? Like if our guys are under a 2-0, right, and they're struggling, well, they can't even join into practice until we try to get them up. We had to sit some guys out where they had to stay in the locker room, and some of our team managers, Coach Sophia Wilson, sitting in there. She's a teacher. She's making sure, like, we got to get this work done before you can step into practice. So now there's discipline with that right now, because if you're missing practice, or you move back on the depth chart. But we understand we want you to be successful in life, so we need you to be academically sound. You just got to work even harder to get back to the number one spot if you were a number one guy. But that also allows other kids to have opportunities, because we're not doing all the things that we need to do. For the most part, we don't normally have those issues, but it's set up that way.
That's good. Yeah. You know, what can the legend from the past show do to help you out, to help the program out?
Oh man, just right now, like you allowing me to speak my voice, talking to the community. I know you always give us great praise. You had a few former players, well, a few players on here. Tyler Womack, who was actually youth. He won Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year for Annapolis, Annapolis High School. But that's not just for Annapolis. He was the youth guy in our area, Boys and Girls Club, and that's a big award, a big honor, because that shows he's about his community. He gives back on other days when he's not at football practice or working out. So he'll leave a workout and go straight to the Boys and Girls Club and go tutor a kid and teach them maybe their ABCs. I'm not 100% sure, but we also are going to partner up with them and have some of our guys as a group just go over to the Boys and Girls Club, so we can just make sure that they understand. When you get to Annapolis, you're not just a football player. You're going to be a well-rounded young man. You're going to give back to your community. You're going to give back to those who gave to you or gave to us. So, man, like, this show has already, to all the viewers who are looking right now, thank you so much to listen in and just pass along the good word. If you ever have any questions about our program, I'm glad to give you any information. We do anything that any other school could imagine as far as working out, lifting, 7-on-7s, combines, big man camps. You can reach any of my coaches. We're pleasant people, man. Like I said, I still live in Annapolis. So anything that you think you could get anywhere else, we can present it to you. We can give you that. We have a great stadium. Man, we got 7 uniforms. I don't even think most high schools got 7 uniforms. Those kids get to do all that. I do interest meetings in the middle school. I'm actually going to Bates Middle School on Friday from 1 to 2:30. I went to Annapolis Middle School last Friday, the same time. And normally I bring 2 managers and 3 football players. Last week I brought Darian Carter and Tyler Womack. Both of those young men are highly recruited Division I football players. And what I mean by that, they've had Temple, Villanova, Wake Forest, Florida State, you name it. Come talk to either one of those guys. And we even talking about Ivy League schools, Dartmouth, Lafayette. They've talked to them and they've been offered by Brown and Navy and different other schools. So these guys have been leading the way. They're both over 3.5, 3.6 GPA. They're both standout athletes in multiple sports. So we encourage that too. We want you to be well-rounded, not just play football. Like, go wrestle, go play basketball, baseball, lacrosse. That's why I was so excited to have those 5 guys sign. And that means a lot. Like, to have 5 guys sign in 1 year off your team. And that doesn't matter what level you're playing. You're just going to the next level of life in college. That's big, because most student athletes don't go play at the next level and sign and go somewhere and where someone wants you, right? So, like I said, this show has already put us at a different place than we were just an hour ago, right? So I definitely appreciate you, Mr. Wallace, and everybody tuning in. But we definitely want the community to be a part of Annapolis High School. We're going to try to do a few different things this year during the season. I want to have a youth night, have the kids come down to the field and sit around the Panther and see our guys come out of the tunnel and do the Panther drill and hit alma mater, our fight song. We also have different theme nights, so just be a part of it on a Friday night, right? Annapolis High School got to be the place you should be at in the fall on a Friday night.
Awesome. Well, my big sis, she's my family. Janice Lord, she said thank you for caring about our youth, and that's just big time. I'm very proud of you. I'm excited about this coming year. I'm excited about the things that you have done, for the program. It's just your staff, you and your staff, all that you've done. When you talk about 3.5 and up students, athletes, it says a lot about you and your program. You're the head man, and I'm very proud of you. And you also, are you still a fireman?
Yes, sir. 17-year career firefighter right now. I can retire in 3 years. I'm not sure if I will though, but 17-year firefighter in the city of Annapolis. So everything that I do is Annapolis. I love Annapolis. My main station is Taylor Avenue Fire Station, right across from the Navy Stadium and over there by the 7-Eleven. So I've been in this city. Besides going to college, leaving away, stuff like that, this city is what I call home. So I wouldn't coach anywhere else. I can tell you guys that right now, especially when you're talking about high school football. It's Annapolis and nothing else. This is the place I believe in. I grew up here, and I want the kids in my community to have all the great things that I experienced and be better. Like I want them to have it greater than we had it, right? We do talk about the past, and we definitely got to respect the past and pay homage, but I want them to have it better than that. I want it to be better than what we had it, and then they take it to the next height. So I'm hoping that with the guys and coaching staff that I have and the players in the program, that we'll just continue to grow. We'll reach that pinnacle and get that state championship at some point. But that's not the only goal. The biggest goal is let's get those kids in college. Let's get them in trade school. Let's get them to the military. But while they're doing that, they're great people. They're great in their communities. They're holding doors for people. They're saying thank you. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. And that is the biggest picture. I believe if you do all those things that we ask you to do, and you put others before yourself, we'll be fine on the football field. That's going to be second nature.
Awesome. Mr. Turner says she applaud you. You're doing great things. I applaud you. I want to thank you for appearing on the show tonight.
Yes, sir.
That's big. And I'm looking for big things as an alumnus for my school, Annapolis. I may even come out there and I don't know if you saw this video that Darryl Green had where he was still out there doing what he did back in the day at the age of 64. That's what it's all about. I may come out there and showcase my skills.
Sure. You're more than welcome. We got open practices all the time. You come on out. Especially for alumni, we want you guys to come back.
Awesome. Before we leave, what encouraging thing would you like to leave for all of you young kids out there today?
Well, if you're a youth right now, and if you're listening to this podcast as well, you got to believe in yourself. Believing is one of the most powerful things in the world. And you got to surround yourself around good people who trying to do better things too, right? And that's always tough to make those tough decisions, right? To figure out maybe some of my friends might want to do other things, but I got goals and I got dreams. So figure out what you want to do and you push for it. You give everything you got, right? I told my guys today at workouts today, like, it's normal for humans just to do enough to get by. That's just the human nature, right? But just imagine if you pushed yourself. Just imagine if you said, I want to do whatever it is, and I really go after it. Just imagine how far you could go in life or whatever you wanted to do. The only person that's stopping you from doing what you want to do is you. That's it. You're the only person. So I have a slogan. I know I didn't make this up. My coach, Coach Scott, me and him coach Crusaders for a long time, and one of my slogans is no sacrifice, no victory. Right? What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to do for whatever you want in life? So that's where that no sacrifice, no victory comes, right? Parents do it all the time. Countless hours of working, no sleep, taking the kids to this tournament, this show, this whatever dance recital, right? For you youth out there, figure out what you want and you go after it. Because whatever you've done right now has only gotten you this far. Be all in.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Coach. And again, I want to thank you for being on the show tonight. And we will support you in whatever capacity needed. You can believe that. It's just nothing too good for my alma mater, my Fighting Panther football program. And to all of you out there who are still here with us, we are going to begin streaming live on YouTube only, no more Facebook. You can't do it. It's going to be a YouTube thing. So get the word out. Spread the word. I actually drop the link each time I make a posting. So let's get that link spread, put it out, and let's show up and show out. I appreciate you on here tonight. I appreciate the support that you do get and receive. Also, next week, as you know, the Legends of the Past is sponsoring one of the sponsors of the Alabama A&M DC chapter alumni golf tournament that's coming up on the 24th.
Awesome.
So next week we're going to have that actual committee, that alumni committee, on the show. We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about a few other things throughout that show. So tune in next week, and we're working on having the first Black female police chief in Tallahassee, Florida, on the show. And that's history. That's history making right there. So we're just trying to finalize a date to have her on, and more to come on that. I will keep you posted. But until then, thanks for joining us. See you next week. Hold tight, Coach.
Yes, sir.